It's your boy ConcertViz34, and today I want to talk about the City Sound Vault shows. They'll be starting next week in New York City from January 24th, that's a Wednesday, all the way to Grammy Sunday, the 28th of January here. And these shows are really shows where Grammy nominated artists are going to be in New York City at a venue called Irving Plaza. It's a smaller GA venue here with a couple thousand people that can pop into this show for all of the dates they have. And there's a process, which I'll talk about in a moment, and there are dates from Wednesday through Sunday of different acts that'll be performing. So let's talk about the process first. Trust the process. I am a Sixers fan. Shout out to my boy Joel Embiid. But we're going to talk about this process people had to enter a couple weeks ago. So first, you had to have a city card, something on that city card. Sometimes it's the last four. Sometimes it's the first four of your card. You enter that in to a site, and then it confirms you are a city card holder. That gets you into being part of the Ticketmaster verified fan process, a process Ticketmaster rolled out in 2017. And it's really to make sure you're not a scalper. Checks your social media, checks your purchasing history, checks your habits online, because Big Brother's always watching. And then once they confirm, all right, you ain't a scalper, they start to put you in a pool, a lottery pool, where they're going to select certain people to get tickets. You request how many tickets you want. And you have to be also 18 or older to get into these events at the GA Irving Plaza venue. So then they selected people in the last couple of days and awarded certain people tickets. Other people were told you weren't accepted or you were denied your request. And here we have it. We have now where everyone who got tickets is going. People who didn't get tickets are kind of stuck and trying to figure out how to get in. But let's go show by show with the prices, because this is critical to really looking at the value of these shows. And also, if you don't get tickets, what the same comparable amounts you would have spent, you can use elsewhere. So 30 Seconds to Mars, Wednesday the 24th, $102 per ticket. Again, GA standing room for all these shows. And $102, I'm guessing they also have fees they're going to add on if you were awarded tickets. Then the National, Thursday the 25th, $102 per GA ticket. We then go to Friday, Eminem. So we go from 30 Seconds to Mars, yeah, they cool. And we go to the National, yeah, they got their little market. Then Eminem on Friday, $252 per ticket. GA tickets again, and then I'm guessing fees on top of that. And then we have Childish Gambino, who's, he killing everything. He has a large demographic of fans, $127 per ticket, and then I'm guessing plus fees again, GA. And then on Sunday, we got my boys Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds, both doing their acoustic thing for this Irving Plaza show, $147 per ticket plus fees. So you see, the artists, based on their value, are priced at a certain point. So every show has a specific price to that show. Some of these shows cross over and have the same amounts. Like, for instance, 30 Seconds to Mars and the National, they have the same price. So if you got tickets and you're tall or you're okay with being in a standing room, so it's a lot, I'm guessing people with, if you're getting too old for the GA pits, you probably shouldn't go to this show. Even if you got tickets, just give them to a friend or something, or try to go to the gate, be like, yo, these are my boys, let them in, show them your ID. But really, if you don't like a GA standing room, these shows are not for you. But those who go, enjoy it. They'll be cool events because it's going to be a lot smaller than Eminem usually plays, a lot smaller than Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds play, unless you get some sort of late night performance. And that's only one song. This is a whole concert. And same thing with Childish Gambino. He's playing mid-size venues or larger venues sometimes, especially with the festivals, larger venues. So you're not going to be able to see certain artists like this. And when you get to the National and 30 Seconds to Mars, they're going to do venues slightly larger than Irving Plaza. I've seen them, as far as 30 Seconds to Mars, I've seen them in an intimate Oakdale Theater here where there's only a couple thousand seats or so. So those shows which are cheaper, they're used to these venues, so they're going to be a little cheaper because the value of seeing them at a small venue is what you usually get. So if you got tickets, enjoy it. But the thing to keep in mind, if you did not get tickets, if you got rejected, if you didn't have a city card and you couldn't even enter this process like me, for Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds, which I wanted to go see. It is what it is, but you really shouldn't put much thought into trying to buy on the secondary. Why? First off, this verified fan method, I don't know as far as what they'll enforce. They try to threaten you and say you can't transfer tickets. You're going to have to show ID. I don't know how it's going to work. These venues are small enough where they could really ID a considerable amount of the crowd, check them in a line, have someone walk by and check your IDs, check your tickets, because it's a smaller venue. So if you buy on the secondary, there may be some difficulties. But I know people that have worked in the secondary marketplaces, and I know that these StubHubs and these ticket networks and these other powers that be in the secondary, they find ways with people who sell to work around this. So if you buy on the secondary, you'll probably still get in. You may not. If not, they'll refund you anyway on the secondary. But it's a very complex thing when you have a small, intimate show like this, because they can do a lot more to stop secondary people from entering the venue. And the prices are wilding out. So that's why I don't think it's worth it to buy on the secondary. Some of these shows like Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds earlier today, it's the 19th of January. They were like $600 tickets. Nah, I'm good, fam. I love these boys. I love M. I love 30 Seconds to Mars, Gambino too. The National, don't really know. They're not worth $600 or $300 or $400 to be in a standing room. I better have a suite, fam. I better have a front row seat to be actually paying that much money. So what I thought of, because I want to criticize or critique buying on the secondary for these shows, but I also want to have a positive way that you can pass over your frustrations if you didn't get into these venues. Here's what you do. You take that money and you invest it in this artist's next tour. So for instance, Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds, or Eminem, or Childish Gambino, they are going to be doing festivals. They are going to be doing tours for the summer, and they'll probably do some winter touring. Some of these artists will be hitting up the arenas for the winter time. Take the money that you would have paid for face value, the $147 for Dave Matthews, the $252 for Eminem, for my boy Gambino, the $127. Reinvest it for summer plans. By that I mean, let's take a look at Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds. It's $147 for a ticket if you were to get accepted, plus fees. You're only getting the right to pay a lot of money to be in a standing room for these great artists. So take that $147 and wait for the on sale coming up in a couple of weeks for the Dave Matthews Band full summertime tour. Now maybe you get nice tickets, maybe you don't. But that money, the $147 per ticket, is more than it costs for a pit ticket plus fees for the summer tour for the Dave Matthews Band. So if you just reinvest that money for the summertime, just wait a little longer. They're doing tons of shows in the New York area. You got Hartford, Connecticut. If you go all the way to Mansfield, that's still only 3 hours or 4 hours from New York City. You got Camden, New Jersey for 2 nights. You got Jones Beach. This is straight off the top. I'm just freestyling this. You got Jones Beach. You got Syracuse. Yes, that's about 5 or 6 hours. But if you live upstate trying to get to New York City, Syracuse may be the same distance from some of you guys that New York City is. So that's just a bunch of different shows in the NYC area you could go see, and you don't have to worry about paying them $600 on a secondary. Same thing with Childish Gambino, $127. All right, for a nice seat, maybe you got to pay that amount or a little more for Childish Gambino, but still, take that money, wait till he comes around. He's done shows in the New York City area for a lot of his tours, if not all his tours, and wait till he does that tour. Go to a festival. I know he's doing festivals this year. I can't remember which ones, but go to a festival, get a VIP ticket. For $127, maybe for $200, you can get a VIP ticket closer on a platform so you can see Gambino kill it. Same thing with Slim Shady, all right? Eminem is doing a world, well, I don't know if he's on a world tour, but he's doing a North American tour. Go see one of his shows and get a nice floor seat, get a nice close seat. I don't know if he's doing pit, but $252 for Eminem, you could get a nice seat, okay? Why go to Irving Plaza when you can take that money, if you get rejected for this City Sound Vault show, take that and invest it in another Eminem show for his tour. you know, and you get to see all the lights and the different stuff to go along with it, the pyrotechnics and so on. And same thing with the National and 30 Seconds to Mars. Fam, I saw 30 Seconds to Mars. Now, my friend gave me a free ticket. I've loved them for years, but someone didn't show up, and I think I had to pay, like, I think I put something towards gas or paid half of it just to make it, just give them something back. It was dead center, right behind a very small pit at the Oakdale Theater in Wallingford, Connecticut, and it was probably $60 on a ticket. So for $102, you could get a nice seat. You could get a pit ticket, or you could get a seat right next to the pit for the next 30 Seconds to Mars show coming to your city. And I'm sure the National's the same thing. I've heard of them. They do festivals. They do smaller or mid-sized venues. $102 is going to go a long way. So I think for those of you who got tickets, go to these shows. For those of you who didn't get tickets and you're trying to budget out a tour, I would say take that money and invest it in the next showing of this artist, of this band that's coming to your city. And for those of you who are just loaded with money, drop the $600 on StubHub. Take a risk. Worst case, you get refunded. If they block you at the gate, you get rejected because you don't have ID. So those are really the three categories I have. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe. But that's my 2 cents on this. I'm trying to be more positive and try to think like a fan, because I am a fan, and really give people solutions and help and logic to look at the facts, look at the reality, and hold your emotions back as far as you can and just think rationally about these shows. So enjoy the shows if you're going. If not, like I said, reinvest that money. See these bands and these artists back when they come to your city again. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, and I am out.